Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, coming with the training camp day 8 notes and quotes. Everything important that went down today. Who's balling, who's not. Brandon Scherff and Payne are back off of the COVID-19 list. Taylor Heinicke is back from not being as good as we thought he would be. Now that Taylor Heinicke that we saw against the Bucks is back. And then the NFC East is in further chaos, highlighted by the Giants. And then much more to talk about on top of all of that. Y'all already know I'm gonna give y'all the injury updates on all of the players as well. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Also, make sure you go check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. Be on the lookout for all of the rest of the rookie film sessions as we head up to the regular season. Tonight is the Hall of Fame game. Dwayne Haskins versus the Cowboys. This is going to be pretty interesting to watch. I'm just happy to have football back. Next thing you'll know, it'll be our preseason games. And then before you know it, it'll be the regular season. Can't wait. Let's get it. Alright, so you know, every time it's a training camp review video, we gotta start with the injury updates. Like I said earlier in the intro, Brandon Scherff and Payne are back from the COVID-19 reserve list. They were on it for a very short amount of time, so that just basically lets you know that it was more of a contact tracing type of thing. They never actually had COVID. It was a precautionary move, and I'm happy to have them back. Because now only Curtis Samuel and David Sharp are on the COVID-19 list. Everybody that was previously on it is already off of it. Matt Ioannidis came back a couple of days ago, so we're straight. Now we just have Curtis Samuel, who's out already because of a groin injury, and then super duper backup tackle David Sharp. It was nice for those couple of days for those backup guys to step up and get a real chance at playing. Like while Brandon Scherff was out, Wes Schweitzer and Eric Flowers were both able to play with the ones. Sadiq Charles was getting mixed in, while Payne and Matt Ioannidis were out, and Jonathan Allen had like a short little day-to-day injury. Tim Settle and David Bada was starting with the ones against the ones, and that was just invaluable experience, snaps, and reps for them. So now we're back to normal, which is best overall. But it was nice for those guys to get those reps, because Reggie Jackson, honestly, if we take it to the NBA, wouldn't be the Reggie Jackson that we know now if Westbrook never got hurt. The way he stepped up that first season that Westbrook got hurt and he never turned back. Who knows, maybe he would have, but it wouldn't have happened as soon as it happened for sure. Man put like 40 or 50 on the Knicks that season. It was crazy. A lot of people, other than people that were either Thunder fans or Westbrook fans or KD fans that kept up with the team, didn't even know who Reggie Jackson was. Hopefully David Bada or Tim Settle can have a very similar impact on this defense. We already feel like Tim Settle can and already kind of has, but I'm ready for him to step up and look like a definitive starter in this NFL just coming off of the bench. Maybe guys are going to come begging us to trade for him. I don't know. I prefer to keep him, but I want him to go out there and make teams jealous that we just have him off the bench. But speaking of the COVID-19, again, I don't like to talk about it too much. I'm just going to present to y'all the facts. We are now at the 85% vaccination rate, which is like the threshold that the NFL wants every team to reach. We've officially reached that. 2 more players received their first shot, and that's how we reached the 85%. And it's crazy too, because just on Saturday, we were at 70%. So guys are stepping up. They're seeing that Payne, Matt Ioannidis, Curtis Samuel, and all of these important players are ending up on the COVID-19 list. They don't want to miss practice, and they definitely don't want to miss games and paychecks, so they're going out there and getting vaccinated. I hope they're comfortable with doing it though. I don't want people to just, I mean, the way the NFL set it up, it is a pressure type of thing, especially peer pressure with people potentially losing game checks, but I hope guys are going to get vaccinated and they're comfortable with their decision. Also, speaking of injuries, moving on from the whole COVID-19 thing, that's in the rear view. Sammis Reyes and Kyle Allen are still both out, which means Steven Montez is getting a lot of reps in practice now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Also, Keith Ishmael is out with a knee injury. Sammis Reyes was working with trainers on the side field, and with his injury situation, like I explained in my stock up, stock down video that I just came out with last night, early this morning, it's looking like Sammis Reyes won't make the 53-man roster. First of all, because his injury. Also, he's definitely like the 4th best tight end as far as today. Like if we had to go play a game today, there's 3 better tight ends than him, including Tamarick Hemingway. And also, The strategic thing would be to put Sammis Reyes on the injured reserve, let him rest for a few weeks, even if he doesn't have to, even if his injury isn't that serious. That will give him time to develop. We'll be able to keep him on the team without allowing him to go to the practice squad and another team scooping him from us. If he's on the injured reserve, nobody can touch him, and that will give him a good enough amount of time to develop. And we'll see when he gets off the injured reserve, if they go that route, if he's ready to step up and be that more athletic version of Jimmy Graham. I hope so. It's sad to see him get hurt, but honestly, this may be the best situation for both parties, the Washington football team and Sammis Reyes. Also, Cameron Curl missed practice today. Nothing serious, just an illness, and he's expected to be back at practice tomorrow, so you don't have to panic, because Cameron Curl is a star on this team. And when I saw that Cameron Curl missed practice today, my heart dropped. Then I kept reading. It said he only missed it for a minor illness. He'll be back tomorrow. So everybody take a nice breath, sigh of relief. We're good. No COVID-19, no serious injury, no nothing. We're good. And also another injury update, Antonio Gibson looks great out there. He's a full go, 100% participant. They're not holding him back in any way. They're not limiting his reps. They're letting him go full go as if the turf toe injury never happened. And I love to hear that. That lets you know that he's 100% healthy. We don't have to worry about him no more. That turf toe injury is in the past. It's not nagging. He's full-blown Antonio Gibson. And like a lot of guys around the league, even including Maurice Jones-Drew most recently, thinks that he will be the next Christian McCaffrey in the NFL. And a lot of people around the team, reporters and coaches, say he looks even better than last year. Because remember, last year, he was more of a wide receiver than a running back. So early on into the season, he wasn't a good pass blocker. So we couldn't even have him on the field in third downs when that would be the time that he would be the deadliest receiving threat that he could be. And then as the year went on, he finally became a more competent blocker, and so he was able to get on the field more. And then that's when we started to see the Antonio Gibson that we love and know to this day. But he's only getting better because remember, like I said, he came into the league as a wide receiver, so his route running is great. And we didn't use him much in the passing game, I'm assuming, last year, because they just wanted to get it in his head. You're a running back. You're a running back. Let's keep giving you reps. Let's give you carries. Let's give you snaps so you can improve your vision, your patience, your cutting, and all of the nuances and technique and mechanical things that's behind the running back position. A lot of it's mental. A lot of it is experience and things you can only get from reps. No matter how much you read a playbook or how to be a running back for dummies, it's not going to matter unless you go out there and get the reps. So that's why last year we just forced him to keep running and running and running and barely catching the ball. I think this year, now that he's a better running back overall, especially mentally, again with vision and patience and things like that, knowing which hole to hit and when to hit it, we'll see him more in the passing game because now they're going to open up the playbook for him. He's always been a great receiver. We just didn't use him as a receiver much last year because they wanted to get him as many reps at playing running back as possible. So this year, this 2021 season, he'd be a full go and can literally go out there and be the next Christian McCaffrey. Smart decision by the coaching staff last year. I kept telling y'all even before last year started, last year was going to be a big trial run. A whole bunch of let's just try this, let's force this. Everything was centered around 2020 is a sacrifice season. 2021 is when we'll take things seriously and put everybody in their best positions to win games and to get the most out of each player. We didn't do that last year. Last year, we just kind of ended up winning the division, not necessarily by accident, but the main goal, especially in the first half of the season, was not to win games, as you can see. But now it's been very fruitful because now you have guys like Logan Thomas, J.D. McKissick, Antonio Gibson, Cornelius Lucas, all ready to step up and play major roles because of the invaluable experience they got last year, being allowed to start. I mean, we released Adrian Peterson and some people threw a fit, but the Antonio Gibson we have today wouldn't be here if we didn't release Adrian Peterson when we did. He would be a few steps behind. And Antonio Gibson, like I said, they're going to start using him more in the passing game now because even in practice, he's out there even getting open against Jamin Davis. And Jamin Davis, you can argue, was the best coverage linebacker in this draft, especially potential-wise and versatility-wise. And Antonio Gibson is making it look easy getting open against him because Antonio Gibson doesn't necessarily need to work on route running that much because, again, he was a receiver. Also, lastly, as far as injuries go, offensive tackle Rick Leonard got rolled up on in team drills. We're not exactly sure about his status, but it doesn't seem too bad. Now, who balled out today? And this is the meat of the video. This is the majority of the video. We have to talk about some of this NFC East chaos again at the end of the video like we've been doing because it's literally been something new every day. It's crazy. At the end of training camp, I may just have to do an NFC East chaos review because there's so much stuff piling up, especially for the Giants. But now we're on to who balled out today. First of all, Taylor Heinicke and Ryan Fitzpatrick finally looked like a legitimate quarterback competition today. A lot of people are saying that this was the most efficient day for both Ryan Fitzpatrick and Taylor Heinicke. This was easily both of their best days so far in training camp. But most notably out of those two is Taylor Heinicke bouncing back, because man, he has not had a good few days of training camp so far. But now today he came back and looked like the Bucs version of himself. But can he do that consistently? But this was easily his best day so far of training camp. It's not even close. But even with Taylor Heinicke balling out, Ryan Fitzpatrick played so well that there's not even a question if Taylor Heinicke may have dethroned Ryan Fitzpatrick for the starting QB spot. It's still Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen competing for the backup spot. That's it. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the starter. Again, Taylor Heinicke balled out today, but that was his first time balling out all camp, and it wasn't enough to just dethrone Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's had a better overall camp easily. And today, you can pretty much say they were neck and neck in performance. It wasn't like Taylor Heinicke was just noticeably better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, but this was definitely Taylor Heinicke's best day, along with Ryan Fitzpatrick's best day. But Ryan Fitzpatrick was balling out. I mean, he had back-to-back completions in one series. They were running a series of plays where he was getting blitzed. He was able to get a short pass to Cam Sims, a difficult pass to McLaurin, a pass to De'Ami Brown, and a pass to Antonio Gibson. And I love to hear De'Ami Brown's name mentioned with the starters. I love that, because I think he has the potential to be the second best receiver on this team. Also, Benjamin St-Juste had a big day today. He looked like that mandatory minicamp version of himself. And he hasn't necessarily looked bad in training camp so far, but today was that day where it's like, I don't know, Kendall Fuller. You might, even though you're making as much money as you are, we might need you to start in the slot, because Benjamin St-Juste is that true outside corner that we need. I mean, he may be a potential shutdown corner. He's holding his own against Terry McLaurin, who's one of the most unguardable receivers in the NFL. I mean, William Jackson is even getting beat by the Ryan Fitzpatrick, Terry McLaurin connection right now. And Benjamin St-Juste is holding his own, batting away passes from Terry McLaurin. I mean, there was even one play where it looked like Terry McLaurin was going to have a catch from Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Benjamin St-Juste, doing Benjamin St-Juste, was able to get it out of his hand. And as much as I love William Jackson, there's just certain things that non-6'3" people can't do. You can't teach his size. And so I love Kendall Fuller, but I prefer him in the slot. First of all, he's a good outside corner. He's an elite slot corner. So that is your best combination of having three corners on the field at any given play anyway. But Benjamin St-Juste is pushing for Kendall Fuller's spot just in general right now. Because again, while William Jackson with his elite speed, his crazy instincts, his sticky coverage, and his aggressiveness, we want him against the Chris Godwins, the Odell Beckhams, the Calvin Ridleys. But Benjamin St-Juste can handle the Mike Evans, the Julio Jones, the DeAndre Hopkins, the Justin Jeffersons, the Kenny Galladays, more specifically to our division, the CeeDee Lambs, while William Jackson's covering the Amari Coopers. That's perfect. That's the ideal situation, and I love to hear that Benjamin St-Juste is only getting better and better as we move through training camp. Now, granted, they had to bring refs to the practice because Benjamin St-Juste has been handsy, and bringing the refs and allowing them to actually officiate these practices is helping them learn what he can and can't get away with. So that took him a step back because he's used to being super handsy. They would have been penalties. I mean, even Terry McLaurin was saying it sometimes. Benjamin St-Juste would get handsy with them on a play, and Terry McLaurin would give the body language of, man, that's a penalty, man. You can't do that type of thing. But now that they have refs, Benjamin St-Juste, of course, took a step back when the refs first got there, because he had to relearn how to basically play the cornerback position and stop being as aggressive as he was. But now he's tweaked his game, and he's only getting better. I'm excited, man. Next up, of course, the defensive line is the defensive line. Montez Sweat is out here going crazy. It's going to be neck and neck for him and Chase Young to see who has the better season. I'm not going to lie. Now, Chase Young is just a better overall prospect because of his bend, his ball get off, his flexibility. But Montez Sweat is right with him. I think production-wise, they're going to be really close to each other. And Montez Sweat, first of all, I love how he's becoming a vocal leader and one of the biggest trash talkers on the team. I absolutely love that. You know, he's from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I support my boy at all costs, but now the fact that he's becoming a trash talker makes me like him way more than I ever did. Because he always seemed kind of quiet, but now he's out there talking as much trash, if not more, than Chase Young on the field. He's like the loudest person on the field. He even has like this weird, almost kind of beef with J.D. McKissick where they're on each other's necks almost every play, that they're both out there. It's funny. And speaking of Montez, Steven Montez is finally getting reps now that Kyle Allen is out. Remember, Steven Montez has been with the special teams group. He's been with the running backs running running back drills. He's been with the wide receivers working on his route running and his hands. Like, they're trying to find any role they can for him. They even talked about giving him a Taysom Hill-like role and designing an offense around that just in case. So they're trying to find any way to use him. But then on top of that, now he actually looks the best he's ever looked. It's still not necessarily good enough to go put him at quarterback in an NFL game and have faith that he can win you that game. He's still not close to that. But he definitely looks better today than he ever has since we've had him. I mean, he was actually making some pretty good passes out there. He missed a couple. Again, he still doesn't look great. He's not better than Kyle Allen, Taylor Heinicke, or Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he looks competent now. He didn't look competent until really like today, honestly. So that's nice to hear, because now if he's able to be that versatile, special teams, running back, wide receiver, Taysom Hill-like role, tight end, whatever we need, just an emergency player whenever there's a slew of injuries or with even COVID-19. Say the whole tight end group catches COVID-19 or the whole quarterback group. Now you have Steven Montez that can step in at either role. You know what I'm saying? A utility player like that, a positional flex player like that is very important. That's a very important chess piece right there. Whatever you need him to be, in any given moment, he can go out there and do it. Not at a very high level, but better than just grabbing some guy off the street to probably do it. We'll see though. We'll see if he even makes the team with all of those talents. He may just be a jack of all trades. Hopefully he can be a master of at least one or two of them. You also got Cam Sims out here balling out. Like I said in my stock up, stock down video, according to a lot of Burgundy and Gold reporters, right now it's obviously Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel 1 and 2. And then that third spot is literally Cam Sims or Adam Humphries. And Diami right now is technically the fifth, even though I think especially some point during the regular season, he's going to emerge as at the very least the third option. And I hope he'll become the second, like I think he will be. I think he's going to end up being a better receiver overall than a Curtis Samuel, especially at getting open on his own. So I'm excited about him. But I mean, that's just great to hear that Cam Sims and Adam Humphries look that good out there, that even as great a camp that Diami Brown is having, he's still only fifth because the receiving group is just that talented and everybody's out there balling. But specifically on Cam Sims, he's even making himself worthy on the blocking end. He had one play where literally if it weren't for how good his blocking was, Antonio Gibson would not have been able to get the yardage that he got. And that's huge, man. Receivers that can block very well, that's very huge. That's just another thing to add to Terry McLaurin's bag. Kelvin Harmon is also a great blocker. I hope he makes the team. And that just can only help your chances of making the 53-man roster, because everybody's balling out as a receiver right now. But if you can add blocking to your game, that's why Cam Sims is such a big lock on this team. Also, the offensive line probably had their best day so far in the offseason. Now that we finally have pads, they can do exactly what they want to do. And in red zone drills, I mean, they literally moved the defensive line out of the way. They obliterated them. Payne Barber basically just walked in for a touchdown that basically any of us could have gotten. That's how much the offensive line dominated the defensive line on that play. And that's crazy, because you may be able to argue the Washington football team doesn't have the best overall defense in the NFL. You may try to argue they don't have the best defensive line in football. But all statistics show that we do have the best red zone defense in the NFL, and easily the best red zone defensive line in the NFL. And for the offense to do what they did against our defensive line like that, to literally make it to where anybody, Rivera could have walked that touchdown in, that's huge news. And like I keep saying, if they can do that against this defensive line, the best defensive line in football, imagine how easy it's going to be for them when we go up against lesser talented defensive lines, and just defensive lines that just aren't as good, because when you're the best, the other 31 teams aren't as good, plain and simple. They can be really good, but they're not this. Also, noteworthy, Eric Flowers was getting most of the reps with the ones today over Wes Schweitzer, so it seems like he's already dethroned him, and I doubt he's going to look back. Wes Schweitzer, love him. For those times that Brandon Scherff gets hurt, I'm not wishing it on him at all, but I just don't expect him to play a full 16 games. So I'm very comfortable with Wes Schweitzer stepping up to take his spot. But for now, our ideal lineup includes Eric Flowers at left guard, Brandon Scherff at right guard, Chase Roulier in the middle. Also, with the ones, they had Sadiq Charles and Cornelius Lucas rotating at left tackle during the red zone drills. Now, Charles Leno is pretty much like the definitive starter for left tackle right now. So maybe they just were like, well, we already know what you can do, so let's see what these other guys can do, especially in the red zone. So I like the fact that, again, that's the theme of this whole training camp. Work everybody in, get third stringers in there with the ones against the ones, and see who's actually really good. Because the third string receiver may be able to ball out against the third string defense, but put them in there against the number one defense and see what they look like. And that's what we're doing top to bottom on this roster, and I love to see that. Especially for like a Sadiq Charles, who's such a big mystery. He's arguably one of the most naturally talented guys out of this entire offensive line. But is he ready? Charles Leno spoke highly of him. He said Sadiq Charles and Samuel Cosmi have the talent to be the future of this team long term, but are they ready to go out there and do that yet? Are they to that level yet that we can actually play them in NFL games? Also, I like to see that Jimmy Moreland is making himself useful. Of course, he has the interceptions in training camp. That's just what he does. He's the playmaker. He's the people's corner. But also, Jack Del Rio deployed him on a blitz, and he came through clean to get at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Easily would have been a sack in a real game situation. So first of all, I like the fact that Jack Del Rio, somebody alluded to it and reported it like weeks ago before training camp even started, that Jack Del Rio's about to get really creative with his blitz packages, his coverage packages, all of that. You never know who's covering what and where, and you never know who's blitzing. It could be the free safety, the strong safety, the outside corner, the slot corner, any of the linebackers, you know what I'm saying? And maybe some of the defensive linemen go back in coverage to throw the offense off. You never know. You'll never be able to guess what our defense is doing any given snap, and that's going to create a lot of turnovers, especially for a defensive line that gets the type of pressure on the consistent basis that they do, and how explosive our defensive line is. Quarterbacks will not have enough time to decipher exactly what our coverage grouping is, and confusion plus panic is going to equal turnovers. You know what I'm saying? The panic from the defensive line, the confusion from Jack Del Rio's coverages. Oh yeah, it's about to be a fun season, y'all. I'm telling y'all now. But again, I love the fact that Jimmy Moreland is proven to be very useful. Advanced statistics say he's one of the best slot corners in the NFL. Hasn't exactly looked like it on film, but you can't argue with advanced statistics. We'll see if that can actually translate to him getting meaningful snaps in regular season games. But man, he's a great backup to have if he doesn't. I'll tell you that. He's a high-end backup slot corner. And then, of course, like I said with the receivers, Terry McLaurin's doing Terry McLaurin things. Not gonna lie, from what I'm seeing and hearing, Terry McLaurin is looking even better than he did last year. He worked with Doug Baldwin on his release all offseason, and he looks quicker. His release is easily better. I mean, he's like already open off the snap now. It's not even like he has to get open throughout the play. Now, with his great release that he worked on with Doug Baldwin, shouts out to Doug Baldwin for helping us with that, man. You're a real one. You didn't have to do that for real. Burgundy and Gold Nation will never forget it, because how unstoppable Terry McLaurin looks right now against William Jackson, who's a top 10 corner in this league, and I feel like he's going to play like a top 5 corner behind his defensive line. But Terry McLaurin's still unguardable, and I could definitely see him being a top 10 receiver this year. Maybe with Ryan Fitzpatrick, the weapons around him, how good this offensive line will be, how creative Scott Turner will get with his offensive play calling and personnel groupings. Terry McLaurin may play like a top 5 receiver, but I know one thing, he will be a household name by the end of this season. But back to Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin beat William Jackson one play, and then soon afterwards, De'Ami Brown beat Kendall Fuller. So our defense is supposed to be the, man, how's the offense gonna even match up against them? And you got Terry McLaurin out here beating William Jackson and De'Ami Brown out here beating Kendall Fuller. Again, I think De'Ami Brown's going to end up being the second best receiver on this team, but as of right now, he's the 5th, according to reporters. De'Ami Brown also had a nice one-hand grab from a Steven Montez throw that was off target. I mean, he's out here getting open. He's making contested, difficult catches. He's doing everything you want him to do. I mean, even in one-on-one drills, Benjamin St-Juste had great coverage. I know a lot of y'all have seen the clip going around, and De'Ami Brown just found a way to come up with the ball. First of all, it was great route running. I'm surprised Benjamin St-Juste was even able to keep up with it. If he weren't 6'3", De'Ami Brown would have technically have been open. But De'Ami Brown just doing De'Ami Brown things, great route running, and great catch, man. There's just nothing you can do with that. Great offense is always going to be great defense. That's just the way the rules are set up. Also, John Bates out there with the twos. When Taylor Heinicke threw to him, went out there and made a spectacular catch. I love to hear it, man. I think John Bates is going to end up being a really good dual threat tight end. Right now, you have Logan Thomas as your best dual threat tight end. Top 7 tight end, potentially top 5. We'll see, especially with the production he's going to get being wide open underneath all of the time. And he's already Ryan Fitzpatrick's favorite red zone target. So go ahead and get ready to grab Logan Thomas in fantasy leagues. I'm telling y'all now, he's going to ball out. But after him, Tamarick Hemingway, other than Logan Thomas, is probably our best receiving tight end as far as camp goes. He's balling out. A lot of people feel like he's literally tight end 2 right now on the depth chart. And then you also have John Bates, who's the better blocker. So you have Logan Thomas, dual threat, Tamarick Hemingway, who can block, but he's a better receiver, John Bates, who can receive, again, like I said, with the spectacular catch he had today, but is the better blocker. So whatever combination you want to go with, you still have 2 dual threat tight ends, but it depends on what you want to do, whether you have John Bates out there with Logan Thomas or Tamarick Hemingway as of right now. Also, man, and this one's huge, man, Cole Holcomb is balling. I mean, literally consecutive plays. One play, sniffed out a run play, stopped Antonio Gibson for no gain. It was instincts, it was athleticism, it was everything all in one package, how he was able to make that play. For him to combine all of his traits in the one play, beautiful. And then the very next play, great coverage against Logan Thomas. We already know the Ryan Fitzpatrick to Logan Thomas combination has pretty much been unstoppable, and Cole Holcomb was able to break that pass up. So Cole Holcomb is looking like he's about to be even better. This is about to be his best year yet, and then he's going to have less responsibilities because he's playing alongside of Jamin Davis. Speaking of Jamin Davis, as of right now, the coaches love him. They're super high on him. But at the same time, whenever they run nickel packages, right now, Jamin Davis takes a rest. So I don't know if that means that Jamin Davis isn't ready, because John Bostic comes in sometimes during nickel packages. It'll be Cole Holcomb and John Bostic instead of Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis. But I think Jamin Davis maybe will be ready week 1 to start at Mike linebacker, because again, the coaches love him. I think they were just giving him some time to rest a little bit. Maybe to do a direct comparison. Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis, a couple of plays, then Cole Holcomb and John Bostic, a couple of plays, to see if Jamin Davis is behind or ahead of schedule. Also, the slot receivers are balling. Like I said, a lot of reporters feel like Adam Humphries may be the 3rd best or at least most productive receiver on this team going into the regular season, especially with the chemistry and rapport him and Ryan Fitzpatrick already have playing together in Tampa Bay. Like, that's just unmatched. That chemistry is crazy. I'm surprised Ryan Fitzpatrick has been able to gain chemistry with Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas so fast, but he has. They look like they've been playing together for a few years as well already. But Steven Sims and DeAndre Carter are making it very difficult. Dax Milne is the one guy on the outside looking in because he's just not out there making crazy plays. Steven Sims is looking like what we hoped he looked like last year. And DeAndre Carter is looking better than anybody ever expected in the slot. We brought him here to be the primary returner. And so he has the edge on making the roster over some guys, because right now he's literally our best, at least most dependable returner that can also make explosive plays. He's faster, quicker, more athletic than Adam Humphries, but he's also more dependable than a Steven Sims. But right now, slot-wise, Adam Humphries is balling out. Steven Sims, again, is balling out, looking like what we hoped he'd be last year, with him building on what he did his rookie season with Dwayne Haskins. And then again, DeAndre Carter, we brought him here just to be a return specialist, and he's out here balling in the slot. I mean, he's out here making contested catches. He's not only just getting open, he's making contested catches and good coverage. Like, come on, bro. This receiving core is literally going from arguably our biggest weakness to, you could literally say, after the defensive line, our biggest strength may be the receiving group. And I mean, by default, with our defensive line being the best in football, every other position group has to be second or later to that. But the receiving group is like almost right there behind it, it looks like. I mean, this receiving group is crazy. Easily going to be the best that Ryan Fitzpatrick has probably ever thrown to as a whole in his career. And this may be top to bottom from 1 through 6 or 1 through 7 if they keep 7. One of the best receiving cores the Burgundy and Gold has ever put on a field. It's crazy. And then lastly, before we move on to the NFC East Chaos, it's also noteworthy that 15 minutes after practice, there was still a large number of players still working on individual things. I'm not exactly sure how much further they went past, but Lake Lewis tweeted out that 15 minutes after practice, it was still a lot of players running individual sprints, using the jug machines, hitting the sled, and then also just working on individual techniques. So who knows, maybe they went for 30 minutes, maybe they went for an hour, but that's great to hear that it's not even just like a couple of people. It's like a lot of people out there doing whatever they can to make this team or to just get better. Maybe you're already a lock, but you just want to be as great as you can be, and you just feel like the time that we practice isn't long enough, so you're going to work on your craft while you have the resources, the coaches, and the support around you. It's better than trying to do it at home. And then to wrap it all up, man, the NFC East is in further chaos. It's great news though, because we're the least chaotic now. With all of our players coming off of the COVID-19 list, we have the most stability. The Giants have the least, and the Eagles and Cowboys are somewhere in the middle. And like y'all already know, with the brawl where Joe Judge was the angriest he's ever been in his life, Daniel Jones was caught up under the pile. We already know that Kenny Golladay is hurt, a nagging injury that he just can't seem to bounce back from, even since his Detroit days. And even before he got hurt, he was dropping easy passes. They had a major injury to their starting left guard, probably won't play this season. I mean, it's just been crazy for the Giants. And then on top of that, now you have Jason Garrett, ex-Cowboys head coach, current Giants offensive coordinator, out here with this weird, awkward, call me coach type of weird thing. And if I don't know, it's just so weird. Y'all can just go on Twitter and check it out.
Good to see you guys.
Likewise.
Yeah.
See you in person.
Yeah, we say good to see you, coach. That's how we do it.
Super weird, and people are joking about that he wants to hear coach as much as possible before he gets fired. It's pretty funny. And then also New York Giants tight end Levine Toilolo tore his Achilles this evening. Get well soon. Again, I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again. I don't wish injuries on anybody, but it is just crazy what's going on in Giants camp, because it's really just up to Evan Ingram right now. I mean, they tried to bring in Kelvin Benjamin. That went haywire. Him calling out the coaching staff and Joe Judge specifically, saying that they don't know what they're doing, they're know-it-alls and all of that. That just added to the Giants' chaos that was already going down this offseason. And now another tight end just tore his Achilles. I mean, Giants are just the most chaotic team easily in the NFC East right now. And you could argue they were our biggest competition, especially with Dak Prescott hurt right now. He recovered from a severe leg injury. Who knows if he's ever going to be his 100% self anyway. But now he has this shoulder strain that took a step back. Now he kind of re-injured it. So he's not even playing in the Hall of Fame game tonight. So honestly, the Giants, unless the Eagles go and get Deshaun Watson, are our biggest threat. But they're just in utter chaos right now. They're in shambles. Hopefully Saquon can stay healthy. Adoree Jackson can stay healthy, because at this point, man, it's getting ugly for him. And again, I don't wish injuries on anybody. I want to play people at their best so I can know that we are that good. I don't want to play a Giants team with barely anybody on it, because I mean, a win is a win, but you know what I'm saying? I'm here for the sport of the game. I love winning, but at the end of the day, I love football, and I want everybody to be healthy. I want the best from every team when we play each other. And then the Eagles, man, on top of Devonta Smith already showing some injury proneness that a lot of people felt like he would have when he hit the NFL, that he's had a little bit since even playing for Alabama. Now Miles Sanders is showing that he has a fumble problem again. He's had fumble problems and ball security problems all training camp, and he fumbled again today. Hey man, the rest of the NFC East, y'all better get it together, man, because we figured out our COVID-19 situation, got our vaccination rate up. All of our important players are back except for Curtis Samuel, but he's really only out because of the groin injury. I'm pretty sure if it weren't for the groin injury, he'd probably be done with his COVID-19 reserve list, isolation, and all of that type of stuff. So y'all need to get it together, because y'all are falling behind. We already have the best depth in the division. We have the best backup. So with this new 17 game schedule, if everybody's starters get hurt, if somehow the equal amount of starters get hurt on each team, we would be the best team standing, period. But then on top of that, y'all are already having injuries early on, and y'all are already having chaos and turmoil in the coaching staff and fumble problems and things. It's crazy, man. Y'all better get it together, because we about to end up repeating as NFC East champs if y'all don't, for real. Don't make it easy. I feel like we still will, even when y'all are all at y'all best, but don't just make it easy and make it look like we won by default. Come on now, get it together, y'all. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. I'm pretty sure you learned something, so you gotta leave a like on the way out. And also, big shouts out to all of my sponsors. Special shouts out to all of my Pro Bowl sponsors whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now, man. Special shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel, man. I really appreciate all y'all. I appreciate all of the support I'm getting. Again, I'm tweaking with the mic, with the lighting, with the camera, all of my equipment. All of y'all money, all of y'all donations and channel membership fees are literally going right back into the channel. Hopefully this mic sounds way better than my previous video. I'm learning, y'all. Upgrading the equipment. Some things are still on the way now, in the mail. But again, I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.